I'm devastated that while I've been away, that my children, my grandchildren have been taken away from me.
All right, a day after a judge suspended her guardianship over her grandkids, Michael Jackson's kids, Katherine Jackson is back home in California. The 82-year-old grandmother was out of touch with those grandkids for 9 days while she was at a spa in Tucson, Arizona. 4 of her children, Rebe, Janet, Jermaine, and Randy, drove with her from Arizona to her home in Calabasas, California. Now, in an emergency hearing yesterday, a judge appointed TJ Jackson as temporary guardian over Michael's kids, Prince, Paris, and Blanket. And TJ, by the way, is the 34-year-old son of Tito Jackson. Now, Katherine Jackson's lawyer told the judge there was reason to believe she was being held against her will, but in an interview with ABC News, Katherine called that idea just stupid.
There are rumors going around about me that I've been kidnapped and held against my will. I'm here today to let everybody know that I'm fine, and I'm here with my children, and my children would never do a thing like that, holding me against my will. It's very stupid for people to think that.
All right, again, for the past week, we've been seeing tweets from Paris Jackson blaming her aunts and uncles for her grandmother going away. Well, now for the first time, we're hearing from Prince. He tweeted this a little bit earlier this morning. As long as I can remember, my dad had repeatedly warned me of certain people and their ways. Although I am happy my grandma has returned, after speaking with her, I realized how misguided and how badly she was lied to. I'm really angry and hurt. He goes on to tweet, if you continue with your lies, I will continue with the truth. So, Katherine's back, yes. Does the drama continue? Yes. And there's some serious legal issues here. You know, at the end of the day, what's best for these kids? Let's bring back attorney Randy Kessler. He's dealt with celebrity issues, family law. It's right up your alley here. So let's talk about who has custody. You know, Katherine suspended as guardian. TJ Jackson comes in, Tito's son, who was very fatherly to the kids and pretty close to them as well. So how do you sort this out, and how does Katherine get custody back? How's this all going to play out?
Well, let's look at it from the judge's perspective. The judge is the representative of our society taking care of the children. When there's an absence of a parent, you know, Michael Jackson's gone, he appointed Katherine Jackson, or she was appointed. When she was gone and missing, he listened to evidence, and apparently he wavered. He wasn't sure what to do, but he was convinced that while Katherine was away and there were some strange things going on, let's temporarily put TJ in charge. Now that Katherine's back, I imagine he's going to put her back in charge unless there's something else we haven't heard, unless she's not doing well. But it sounds like she's the same Katherine she was a week ago.
She does, but I mean, in court, I mean, you had the judge using the verbiage, basically. She could have been being held against her will, right, or was being, you know, basically stopped from being the guardian. How are you going to find out the facts if you're the judge? Because in the middle of this, you basically have the Jackson family split in half.
Right, and that's the hardest case for a judge because it's an emergency hearing. Katherine wasn't there to defend herself and say, look, Judge, I'm okay. So he made an immediate decision, and for kids, we can't let it linger on like other cases where you can take a year or two to get to trial. He made a decision. He's going to get into it, and there will be evidence about her sanity or she's okay. But unless somebody proves that she can't take care of these kids, it's going back to her. This was a temporary situation because she was missing. She's not missing.
Okay, let's look at the Jackson family. And again, this is what we believe or how the split looks. On one side, Janet, Jermaine, Randy, and Rebe. On the other side, and there we have it for you, Marlon, Jackie, Tito, Tito's son TJ, and what we believe could be the kids, at least the way they're tweeting, Prince and Paris. So obviously this is sad to see this family who's been through so much, to see this kind of dysfunction. How does the court cut through all of that to figure out, all right, who's going to get custody? How are we going to move forward here?
Well, I think the court would like to look at that visual that you just put up there and replace the VS with an and. These are all people that love the children, one way or another. They may express it differently. They may have different ideas about what's best for the child. But the judge has to decide, in the absence of the natural legal parent, who's the next best person? And that decision's already been made. It's Katherine. So all these competing forces, unless there's some extreme reason why Katherine should no longer be in charge, she steps right back in. She's in the driver's seat, so to speak.
Okay. Again, and I've asked you this, but it's worth asking again. Sure. You've been through the celebrity issues like this, family drama like this. What's your advice? What kind of counsel do they need right now?
I think they all need to step back. If they're therapeutic individuals, if they can go to a psychologist and all get together. But, you know, they're not in the same position they were right when Michael died, where there was just nobody in charge. Now there is an order, and there's a court involved, and the judge rules, and the judge said it's Katherine, and he ruled that way because he thought something was going wrong, something fishy was going on. Now that Katherine's back, if something fishy is not going on, the burden's on the people that want to show that something's wrong. Otherwise, she steps right back in. So I advise them peace and go back to the status quo.
You'd love to see that. Does the court dig into, hey, what is life like for these kids? Do they get into what's day-to-day life like at that mansion in Calabasas?
Not at this point. At this point, this was a temporary situation caused by one fact. Something was going wrong with Catherine. So this is not a whole brand new custody battle where everyone's going to get into it, and psychologists and lawyers.
Right.
This is, was there a fact that existed? I took an emergency method. That fact no longer exists. Emergency, gone.
Okay.
So it should be back to status quo unless something strange happens, and we've seen it before.
Who knows? Yeah, we'll keep following it. Always appreciate your insight.
Thanks
so
Mike.
much. We'll keep following this one for you. And we're also